Hey guys, Ramblin' Man Moto here. So I'm doing a little experiment. Actually, I've zoomed in on my mirror. You probably couldn't see me, but I'm doing a little experiment. This is the first time I have worn my full face helmet since I've moved to the DJI Osmo Action 4, and I'm using their adapter right here to plug in my wired microphone that was already inside my helmet. And also I'm charging it using an external battery pack, but with the battery in it. Then I'm going to run a test with the battery out of it. I did it in the house and everything worked fine either way, but there's no substitute for riding. And then I'll compare the sound quality to when I'm using the DJI wireless mic only. And I've got it set on a gain of +5 right now, okay? So we're going to see how this sounds out on the road and play around with it a little bit. Alright guys, Ramblin' Man Moto, meeting you here on the road. Again, we're doing a test with the wired microphone I already had inside my full face showy helmet. So I'm wired to the Osmo Action 4 camera, and I'm running on an external battery pack, but with the internal battery still in the camera. And we're checking how the sound quality sounds. Now, I played around at home, which of course doesn't account for the bike noise, but I have it on a +5 gain, and we're going to see how this sounds. You know, I made a video that I was thinking of selling the bike I'm riding right now, the Super Chief Limited, and when I looked on like Cycle Trader with similar specs as to mine, I think the number I was settling in around was 14 to 16,000. Mine's got more miles than some others. That's one of the things that really surprises me. I guess it's no longer a surprise, I get it, but the number of used motorcycles that have such low mileage. And you know, this bike has got let me drop the speedometer down so I can see it. 16,148 miles. I bought this bike used from a Harley dealer. A guy traded it in on a trike, and I think it had like 300 miles on it. The 500 mile service hadn't even been done yet, and I got a pretty good deal on it. And I've put, you know, that many miles on it. And you know, I'll see used bikes. This is a 2022, and even some of the 2021s had like 3,000, 2,000. But anyhow, you know, the prices, it's a little harder to gauge because there's not as many of them. But I think somewhere in that range is what I would try to get if I sold it. But I think I'm kind of leaning toward keeping it. But I go back and forth every day. I'm like, well, I don't need two bikes. But then when I got on it, the shocks, I think I would have to upgrade if I'm going to keep this bike. I'm glad we put the baffles back in, even though I had that hiccup on it. Alright guys, so that was test number 1. And I'm going to switch out here. Alright guys, I'm back. And what I've done is I've removed the internal battery, and I'm running from just the external battery that's in my coat pocket. And I've turned the gain up to +10, so I can see how that sounds with the bike running. Alright, testing, see how this sounds at +10. And you know, I want to make sure. I think when I go on longer trips, I may start powering this up with an external battery pack like I did my GoPro. My problem I have with it is I've been wearing my showy modular helmet, since I got it, kind of the setup dialed in. And I really like that modular helmet. It's got an internal sun visor. I'm able to, I don't have any wired microphone in it, so I don't have a dangling cable. I'm running the DJI wireless mic. But the downside of powering that with with an external battery is that if you want to raise the helmet, well, you either got to disconnect the wire or have it long enough that when you lift it, the wire is going to be in front of your head, whichever I don't like. Some of you have been resourceful and decided to tape, Velcro, or affix somehow a battery pack to your helmet to get around this issue. And maybe that's with a full face helmet. Now that I think about it, I'm not sure everyone's doing that with a modular. I just don't want the added weight on my head, but enough people do it that it must not be that big of an issue once you get used to it. But oh, one of the other things, with the way that I'm running this right now, one of the things I don't like about it is that if some reason I got thrown from the bike or wanted to step off the bike, if there's no internal battery, you know, you're going to lose power immediately. Whereas if you know, you have it in there, it'll keep going. I have a feeling this plus 10 might be a little too loud, but I'm not totally sure how it's going to handle the noise from the engine. But the microphone is inside the helmet. The other thing that I would like to do if I keep this bike, which I think I'm leaning toward keeping, is to mount a GoPro. I'll call it GoPro, almost like we call it Kleenex now. That's a brand, but to put my action camera here with one facing at me. Alright, I'm going to check this. Be right back. Alright guys, we're back on. I've changed the gain back to +5. You can always make it louder in editing, but I don't think you can get rid of distortions on the high end, but you can add more volume. And the other thing I did was put the battery back in. Now my battery is at 57%. And honestly, I don't know what it was when I left home. So I'm going to see if it goes up or down while I ride around a little bit, okay? Hey guys, I'm getting ready to leave my current location, and I checked out the battery after riding for I guess about 20 minutes with the battery charger connected to it, and the level had not gone up or down. I think I said it was at 57, and that's what it was at, was 57. So in local riding news, we've had 2 deaths in the area. I'm in the Richmond, Virginia general area. We had one yesterday, and we had one today. Not a lot of details have come out on the one yesterday, other than I think they said he ran off the road and hit a power pole. Then the one today, the local Facebook group was discussing it and said that sounded like it was a newer rider on a pretty powerful bike, maybe, that had an accident. I'm inclined to think, I'm not casting anything on their reputation because I don't know who they were, but statistically, both of these accidents sounded like they were single rider, one vehicle involved accidents. It's probably user problems, right? It's usually driving too fast and riding beyond your skill level. So right now I have removed the external battery pack, and I am using just the internal battery on the camera, but I still have my microphone plugged in that was wired into the helmet before I bought the Osmo and that I was using with the GoPro. So we'll see how this turns out.